and wells were deep and expensive. For some, the hopes and dreams that were planted with orchards and crops, like searching roots in the crusted soil, withered, and with the stream beds, turned to dust. The Friant-Kern Canal, the new river, brought relief to the thousands of farms in the major water deficiency area of the project. The releases from its turnouts along most of its length, 152 miles from the dam south to the Kern River near Bakersfield, nourishes the roots of crops that form a vast resource of food and fiber. Produce, much of it, that after the harvest flows out of the valley and across the country to start a return flow of dollars to the bank accounts and cash registers of the San Joaquin. Irrigation water in all project service areas, north and south, is contracted for by agencies called irrigation districts, which are formed by groups of farmers who join together to obtain and distribute water to their farms. After a request for water service from an irrigation district has been approved, a contract is prepared, which is voted upon by the members of the district before being signed. The volume of orders for water is reflected in the daily releases to the canal, which has a capacity of more than 4,000 cubic feet per second. And deliveries are made on schedule from the concrete-lined river that has kept thousands of once dry South Valley acres green. Another smaller man-made river flows north from Friant Dam. This is the Madera Canal, running 36 miles and supplying water for nearly 200,000 growing acres. The Friant-Kern and Madera canals are largely concerned with furnishing irrigation water. But there is another water artery, the Contra Costa Canal, actually the first project canal to go into operation, running from the delta 48 miles west to Martinez, which not only transports water for irrigated farmland, but domestic supplies for municipalities, and water for the industry that is developing and expanding on the south side of Suisun Bay. 4 pumping plants lift the water uphill from sea level, a total of 124 feet, to a point where it can flow by gravity the remainder of its length through the growing populated area it serves. Municipal, industrial, and domestic water for the city of Placerville, and supplemental or full supplies of irrigation water for 10,000 crop acres comes through the Sly Park unit of the Central Valley Project, the main feature of which is Sly Park Dam, which has created Jenkinson Lake. Water is now on its way to the north-central Sacramento River Valley through the Sacramento Canals Unit, a project. Sacramento River water diverted below the town of Red Bluff is pumped to the head of the Corning Canal, the first stage of the system to be completed. Eventually, the Sacramento canals will furnish irrigation water for over 200,000 acres in an area where farmers mainly have been raising dry farmed crops. To assure the future flow in the Sacramento canals and in canals that today are no more than ideas in the minds of men, the engineers of the Central Valley Project plan and build to put more water resources to work. 20 miles west and 1,500 feet above the Sacramento at Keswick Dam, in the region of 80% water surplus, runs the Trinity River, wasting 1 million acre-feet a year. A series of dams, reservoirs, and tunnels will store and divert most of the surplus acre-feet into the Central Valley. A series of powerhouses will generate 384,000 kilowatts. The main feature of the Trinity River Division is the Great Earth Dam, a built-up mountain wall more than half a mile thick, against which to create a storage lake of 2,500,000 acre-feet. Work in progress is symbolic of the concept of the expanding Central Valley Project, serving additional areas as the need arises. In the western San Joaquin Valley, the San Luis unit will make increased use of the Delta Mendota Canal and will include another large pumping plant, reservoir, and canal. These features will fit in with state agency plans and will provide water for 500,000 acres of irrigated farms where present underground supplies are. The Bureau of Reclamation is by law charged with the responsibility for locating and in water conservation projects that are adapted to development and are economically feasible. In line with this policy, the Bureau is studying several possible additions that would help to stabilize water conditions in areas where a dependable supply is now lacking. These projections for the future are important. The greatest westward migration in the history of the world is converging on California at the rate of 1,000 people a day. By 1975, the population of Central Valley alone will probably exceed 3 million. The ability of the Great Basin to absorb this growth will depend upon provisions for adequate water to meet all human needs. Over the mountains and the vast midland plain of California, the weather cycles roll on, through wet seasons and dry seasons as before. But through the work of the people of the Central Valley Project, more and more of the water once lost in the sea is controlled, directed in regulated flow down the rivers and canals, keying in with local water programs to work for the citizens of the Great Basin and of the state and the nation. For the wealth production capacity of Central Valley Project is its greatest asset. The availability of water for irrigation, municipal and industrial use, and for power generation, for lands protected from floods, makes this rich basin one of the nation's foremost agricultural and industrial sections. The increased value of farm and orchard products and the associated general increase in the economy of the area is a gratifying result of project operation in controlling and equitably distributing nature's resources of water for the great Central Valley.